This is our team of the King Tiger restoration. We are greeting you at this museum. My name is Thomas Hook. I am the president of this military museum on the Rhine, and I want to thank you all for the support we are getting from you. This project is far away from being finished, but we are moving forward, and it will not be possible without your support. This is our team of restoration workers. They are working here. Willi Klauser here. Then Bernd Kubiak. After him comes Harald Ketterer. And then Johnny Miller. They have already spent thousands of hours on work and hope will spend some more to finish the work. First, we had huge problems with the hull. We were not able to lose the tightening of the leaf springs, especially of the two in the front and of the two in the back. There are leaf springs inside, and the connection to the leaf lever is done by a gear. It was complete rust. It was like welded together. The leaves in the middle could be separated by a hydraulic press with 60 tons power. But this 60 tons press was useless by the back and the front leaves. But luckily we were able to find a 100 tons hydraulic press. Finally we made it. Further, the most of the work were done by Bernd. All of the 7 fuel tanks were grounded and painted, and also the pipes were ordered, and we ordered also the connection sleeves for the fuel pipes. We pressed the connecting sleeves on them, so now all fuel pipes are new. The next step, we needed new wiring harnesses. Here you see the remains of the old harness. Then we reworked the driver's seat and the lifting mechanism for the driver's seat. We had to make a new one. Following the example of the Bovington Tank Museum, we had to order a new tool for pressing the spring in a tension status. Further, we made the driver's pedals, but they are not painted yet. This is a later version with a hydraulic mechanism. But first we have to mount the gearbox, then the engine, and then we have to connect it all with the pedals. Then we made a new air spreader. It's tightening by the fans for the engine. We copied this one from the Bovington tank. The air cooling the gearbox is being leading out. The new intake air is being lit to cool the exhaust pipe. This part, looking very simple, cost a lot of money. These are different cooling water pipes for the cooling system. Then, as you see, the mudguard has been made new. The turret is placed behind there, ready for sandblasting. Here is placed the back part of the gun, including the cannon breech. Over there is a gun support laying and the front hatch, commander's cupola, and the mechanism of the tower wreath. Harald reworked the gearbox of the turret. Now the turret gearbox is working again. This is the manual drive and the gearbox for the tower rotation. It has been connected to the tower rotation mechanism. We made it new after the form from another tank. These are the ball bearings of the turret. There are 40 of such balls for turret shoulder strap. Every second ball had a distance ring on it. There are touching points where the balls are rolling. The turret is laying free on the bearing balls. On the bearing are running grooves for the balls. The backside hatch of the turret had to be cut off as it was rust fix. We not know yet how to fix the torsion shaft. Harald will tell you about the turret rotation mechanism. Yes, very quickly. The manual turret drive is laying between the serrated flange and the hydraulic drive. So the gunner is able to use the manual or the hydraulic drive. This is a planetary mustard drive. The gunner is able to use the manual drive every time. The gunner does not need to switch off the hydraulic drive. He can directly use the manual or the hydraulic drive without switching off the other drive. The loader can also turn the turret, but it is not possible to help the hydraulic drive with the manual drive. For example, if the tank is standing on a slope surface. The turret is very heavy and it's carrying a very long and heavy gun. It can happen if the tank is standing on a slope surface that the engine for the turret drive has not enough power to rotate the turret, but you cannot help the hydraulic engine to rotate the tower with the manual drive. But it's a very interesting mechanism which was very reliable under normal standard operation conditions. The gear wheels were not always in a good quality. Now we have to finish the turret and then we can install the mechanism. It is important to fix the tower if you're driving off-road. Bernd will tell us about the hull. I could tell you a very long story, but I'll show you better. I'll just show you some details I was wondering about as I learned them as I started working here some years ago. This small cylinder is for the clutch pedal, which is the only one on the Tiger II we know yet. No other King Tiger existing has the same. There is a document which is including an order to modify the King Tigers to a hydraulic clutch pedal. This document is dated August 1944. And this King Tiger is including such a cylinder, and if you install it you have a rod which is passing through, but this rod is not connected because this machine was already modified for a hydraulic clutch pedal cylinder. There are over 30 fuel pipes inside the tank. We left the most of them without a function. So in case that one of the fuel pipes will have a leakage, it's gonna be a big problem to exchange this pipe inside a fully assembled tank. So we decided to use only one fuel tank and only one fuel pipe. Only the upper tank in the back will be connected. And only one fuel pipe will lead from the fuel tank to the fuel filter. Then the fuel pipe will go to the fuel pump, and after to the engine. All the other beautiful pipes here will not be used. How they are going to be connected? By such big rubber sleeves. In some books it is written that the balls have different diameters, but here the balls are having all the same diameter. Is this for the turret ring? Exactly. But the turret is not laying upon these balls, but sideways. Yeah, it's like on the drawings. Regarding the gun, this part over there is going to be installed inside the turret, right? And this one is going to be installed from the outside, right? This is a gun cradle. It will be installed from the lower opening of the turret and then tighten it inside of the turret. The bigger part will be pushed inside of this one. Let's go over there. This part is named the bottom part. This is named falling block action. Here will be a block installed, and here on the side will be a lever.
If I open the block with the lever and push the grenade inside?
No, the block is going up.
You mean the block is going up if it's open?
Right, the down position is for the closing. So this part will be pushed inside the gun cradle. On the gun cradle there are two cylinders installed. One of the cylinders is a recoil absorber and the other one is a gun return mechanism. They are gonna to be installed here. The gun cradle will be installed in the turret in the front part and will be tightened there. It was made to limit the travel of the spring to avoid the crash with other parts. There is some logic in, but this thing is such a construction. It's a whole machine. Every Russian had welded on any wooden part, so that was it. This thing just has to limit. How do you weld wood? By a wooden electrode. Yeah, Russians are able of that. This thing is only just in case the spring will broke, then it will have such a further way of spring. There is only additional spring travel way, nothing more. About 10 millimeters, and this is a sheet construction. There are 3 screws and I cannot assemble them if the hull is completely assembled. So you have to disassemble the complete gear if you forgot the lower screw to install. There is a disc spring inside and a support rod, which is taking the last heat if the spring travel is over. And there are 3 screws in such a position and you can't reach the lower one. If they had positioned the last screw up there, so it would not make any difference. But they had the construction ready and they don't give a shit. Also this thing here, what should it be? We don't understand. This whole thing, we don't understand what should it be. The only thing we understood that it should bear additional driving wheel on the outside here. Also the whole suspension is very complicated. So there are house over house over house. We don't understand the reason of all this construction complication. Last year I was in Russian museum in Kubinka. There was a IS-3 tank standing and they had a driving wheel dismantled. And we could take a look inside of the construction, like on your t-shirt here. It's ISU 152. Yes, they have the same chassis. It's insane. It's just a cast roll with 2 roll bearings inside, and that's it. If you compare this with this one, a roll containing 5,000 of parts, seriously, look at this. Screws over screws for one wheel. Roll bearings and a lot of other things. If you compare it with a rolling wheel of a IS-2 or IS-3 tank, it's just a one cast thing and 2 roll bearings and 1 screw. And this thing is driving and not bad. And they had a lot of work with this Porsche turret. The first 50 turrets needed a lot of work after. They had a round front plate and a plate for a commander's cupola was also round. On the side, hence the Henschel turret won to compare. The Henschel turret was easier to produce. These are the wirings. Right now I am standing on the hull and Bernd will tell us what was happening with the hull from December 2017 until May 2018. Yes, we have installed the fuel tanks and the last time we did connected all the tanks with pipes. The old pipes were such thin rubber in textile casing, there are no more available. So we chosen a modern system and we did not connected all the tanks by all the pipes, but we chosen to connect only one or two fuel tanks to feed the engine. The fuel tanks could be filled by the middle one, and they were all connected by endless pipes between these fuel tanks. These are all potential error sources, so you don't want to have leaking pipes inside if the equipment are all installed.
Do you have any access cover to exchange any leaking pipes?
No, you don't have any. If, for example, this pipe over there will leak, so you can reach it. Luckily, this one can be reached by the cover. But these two are under this cover down there, or the tank under this cover, if it will leak.
What? There is another fuel tank?
Yes, under these two covers are another two fuel tanks. Overall, we have 7 fuel tanks here. And if there is a leakage down there, so you have to dismantle complete cooling system. You will have to open this cover to dismantle this tank, to repair it and to build it on. Nobody wants to do it.
Maybe the exhibit will do it.
Yes, you're right, exhibit. He's the right man for this. We installed a new pipe which is leading from the fuel tank to be filled in, and it's leading to the fuel filter. Then it will be leading to the fuel pump, which will be installed here on this place. On this way we will bypass all the old connections which are 100 years old and are too rusty, and to connect them is too big risk, so it was a good decision to bypass them. I think so. So let us go inside the turret. I will show you something. Let me take the lamp first, so we have some light inside there. Now let's go inside.
So now we are inside of the turret. The gun has been dismounted now.
So you recognized it. Here inside we have the crane control to avoid all the people running against it outside here. The turret is completely empty now. We have only this tightening for the triplex. We have to dismount it. This big hole will be covered by the commander's cupola. Here will be a fan. It was missing as we got the tank. This place is for 2 ammunition stores. Here were a lot of torn off screws. Really made them all out. We made new threading for all the screws. Everywhere where it was possible, as we made these old screws out, we made this threading also. There is no reason to wait for the sandblasting. Today we made all these screws here. The gun will be mounted here and against dust. So as dust protection, here will be placed a cuff. It's laying over there. Yes, it's a kinda cuff. It will be mounted here around the gun. It's tightened here by a special metal frame and by 36 screws. All of them were broken off, nearly all. 8 pieces could be saved by me. We decided to cut all the other off by our cutter. We needed the cuttings to look some from the hole out. On this way we could get them by forceps and screw them out. But we had to drill out some of them. Here was a wasp nest. Billy cleaned them out, or some other insects looking like wasps, I don't know. And we had here a bird egg.
Can you tell us how the gun will be installed here?
On these plates will be installed a part named Wiegenlager. It's a called cradle storage. These bolts on the side will be stored in the cradle storage.
You mean these bolts here on the sides, and this thing will be laying on these bolts?
They will be laying in the cradle, and the cradle will be tightened here. We have dismounted the cradle through this hole where the commander's cupola has been, and on the same way we will install it back and it will be placed here. But it was quite hard to get the gun through the backside door, because it was not possible to open the door completely and we were missing some millimeters. So the gun will be pushed in through this backside door and will find his place in the gun cradle.